48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus, get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000-mile per year lease. 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
Ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes in Greenfield. They've built hundreds of homes across central Indiana. Joyner Homes builds homes that have character, like the homes of yesterday, but have modern features. Character-rich features with exposed wood beams, stone fireplaces, custom build-ins, and smart design. Joyner Homes has a full in-house team that includes architectural and design specialists that will be with you every step to ensure your vision comes to life. See pricing, floor plans, and photos at joynerhomes.com.
Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at drexelin.com or visit their showrooms today. Go where the pros go.
This hour powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard Air dealer. Nobody cares for you like family.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Spotty morning showers, decreasing clouds this afternoon. Today's high up to 76. We're mostly clear, quiet, cooler. Some areas of fog possible overnight, a low of 56. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8's Marcus Bailey, 93 WIBC.
And I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level on the go and on WIBC.com. Kendall Casey starts now.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Well, it turns out we were right.
That happens sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and you know, the best of all worlds for us, Casey.
What's that?
Is when we're proven right and we don't have to do any of the work to prove ourselves right.
You know what? Ever since this article came out, I have had a certain Christmas song playing over and over in my head. You'll know what I'm talking about when we tell you the title of the article featured in the Indy Star. The Three Kings, top IEDC official and his partners received $180 million in IEDC contracts.
All right, so it is by three members of the Indy Star, Haley Colombo, Kayla Dwyer, who have been on our show before. Marissa Mader helped them as well. And coming up at 10 o'clock, Haley Colombo and Kayla Dwyer are going to be with us to talk about this piece. This journalism should win all the awards. If you do nothing else today, read this article because it is so well done. And before we get to kind of the meat of the article, I want to come back to something I've talked about before. People are critical of me sometimes on the right because it's like, oh, you're friends with all these liberal Indy Star people, to blah, blah, blah. And I said, look, first of all, I can be friends with anybody as long as they're honest with me. But we need a thriving Indianapolis Star. The city of Indianapolis, the people of central Indiana, should be all cheering for the Star to thrive because their journalism side oftentimes is excellent, and we need as many eyes and ears on the ground as we can possibly get. And the Star is still the paper record in the city of Indianapolis. We need them thriving and doing good work because they expose things like what we're about to talk about. We're all on the same team, whether regardless of our politics, of exposing what's going on in our government. We should all be rooting for each other to be succeeding if it comes to holding governments who go out of their way to not be transparent accountable.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need cheerleaders, right? We need people who are going to dig through all of this and find out, like what the ladies at the Indy Star did, that the IEDC awarded over $180 million to entities connected to three influential insiders.
Yeah, so basically what this article alleges is that, and it's so well done. I mean, these women probably spent, I mean, I think they, and we'll ask them when they come on with us at 10, months. Because the problem with the IEDC, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, is they're what we call a quasi-government entity, which means, and this is done deliberately, so they can avoid giving information that other government entities, other government agencies have to give away. They can stall, they can deflect, they can just not give it to you. And they have all sorts of special rules they get to play by. And so we have said for years now in this program that the idea that we take money from poor and middle class people and we give it through a quasi-government entity that avoids transparency and reporting requirements to some of the richest, most powerful people, sometimes companies, in the world or in the country, or certainly here in central Indiana, is ridiculous. And this article lays out how these three guys, dubbed the Three Kings, basically took what the Stars alleges is $180 million of mostly taxpayer money, and they were able to control through the IEDC where that money went, and that money went to companies that they were in control of or involved with, or people that they were super close buddies with that might come back and benefit them in some capacity. It is egregious beyond belief. It is disgusting. And I would say everybody should be ashamed of themselves, but these people have no shame. And I think the worst part about it is, even though it's just been exposed for the whole world to see, nothing's going to happen to these people, and nothing meaningful will probably come of it.
So one of the things that the article highlights is that the Three Kings, or the Three Musketeers, as they're sometimes called, their entities linked to these three received $180 million in awards over 6 years, plus 25% of all grants from the 21st Century Research and Technology Fund over a 26-year period, plus no bid contracts, right? And also grant money, $17.5 million worth.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking in some cases like actual dollars. We're not talking about like abatements or whatever, where they, you pay less in taxes over time. We're talking about real money in some cases.
But not only that, it seems to be some favoritism where some other startups were excluded or squeezed out because they didn't have the connection to the Three Kings.
Yeah, and this is your money. This is the state taking money from you and giving it away to their buddies. But they didn't have the guts or the cojones to do it out in the sunshine. So they create this convoluted soup that is the Indiana Economic Development Corporation that no reasonable person can understand or track what's going on. I mean, you got to really know what you're doing. One of the best guys at tracking this is our old pal Steven from Indy Reporter. Think of the hours upon hours he spends digging into this. I'm sure Kayla and Haley are going to tell us from the start. It took them months to put this together. No reasonable person has the ability to do this. Government should be this simple. We spend it. You go here. You look. You see. You understand where it went. Done. See ya. But instead, what we have is, again, this convoluted, by design, this convoluted mess in which some subcommittees are voting on this, some subcommittees are voting on that. You have to really be on the ball to figure out what's going on, and probably nothing's going to happen to these people because they're probably going to be able to say, well, by the letter of the law or by the system we had set up, these guys were checking all the boxes, when we all know that we deserve much better in terms of knowing, one, how our money's spent, and two, how are the results of what happened for that money being spent.
Yeah, so a lot of critics are questioning whether the awards were based on relationships rather than merit. And based on this reporting, it seems to be somewhat clear. But it does make you question the impact on Indiana taxpayers and other startups.
Well, and I've said this numerous times, and I'll say it again. The Indiana Economic Development Corporation is a glorified money laundering scheme. They do things that if regular people did them, like this is what I can't get my mind around, especially after this Indy Star report came to light. As an elected official, like a local elected official, if you have a project or a vote that comes in front of you that you have some financial interest in, you have to fill out a conflict of interest form,
right,
and recuse yourself from voting. How did these guys, when you've got $180 million, according to the Star, how were they able to funnel all this money to all these different projects or groups or whatever, much of it benefiting them? How is that legal? How is that okay? And that's what he said. These people do in the government or government-related entities or agencies that if anybody else did it, they'd go to prison. But because it's the government, and it's no different than the insider trading stuff that goes on in Washington. If you or I did what those Congress people do, we'd go to federal prison. But somehow they're able to do it and make $1 gajillion and it's just fine. So I want to know how it's legal or okay that these guys controlled where money went, much of it benefiting them or things they're associated with, and that's okay. That's just fine.
Well, we know a few months ago, Governor Braun said that he wanted an audit done of IEDC. So I'm curious, is he going to find systemic issues with the structure of the IEDC, or is he going to find problems with specific individuals? And what sort of reforms will be put in place based on what he finds?
Okay, so we get, this is the other part that came out of this. Okay, let's take a break because this, and we hate to do 2 segments in a row and kind of the same stuff, but this is so big. This issue is everything we tell you about on this show every single day about and it's the Republicans. Again, the Republicans control everything. This is Republican governors, not all these people are Republican appointees, but I mean, they control the legislature that funds the IEDC. This is what Rob is so mean to the Republicans because they do this stuff. Yes, this is them, right? Okay, so Braun came out and announced that forensic audit of the IEDC is complete, and I want to get into that for a little bit because this whole thing, it's so much money, it's so rotten.
Stinks.
It's awful. So let's talk about that when we come back.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey. It is 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the Morning News. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Don't let pneumococcal pneumonia break your stride. If you're 50 or older, you're at increased risk. So be proactive with Capvaxive pneumococcal 21-valent conjugate vaccine to help protect against invasive pneumococcal disease and pneumonia caused by certain types of pneumococcal bacteria. Capvaxive helps protect against the strains of bacteria that cause about 30% more IPD cases than any other pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in adults over 50, according to national-level CDC stats. Regional variations may exist. Don't get Capvaxive if you're allergic to the vaccine or its ingredients. Tell your doctor if you have a weakened immune system. Common side effects include injection site reactions, feeling tired, headache, muscle aches, and fever. Capvaxive does not protect against all strains. For more information, call 1-800-927-8888 or visit capvaxive.com. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Capvaxive. Need help paying for your Merck vaccine? Visit merckhelps.com. Sponsored by Merck.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten, classics are remixed, bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Rob. Right now, buy 2 windows and get 2 free. And no interest for 3 whole years. Restrictions apply. Call 317-659-7574. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Seems like there's more identity theft in the news every day.
Another major healthcare breach was reported today, resulting in the exposure.
1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity theft.
That's because there are endless places that could accidentally expose you to identity theft, in a breach, or simply by mistake. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it. Guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Fall is great in Indy, so don't ruin it by painting. Do what Mike did. He called Rhino Shield.
Our home is basically a contemporary, and we just started noticing that the paint was just fading and just looked like garbage. We had received a postcard from Rhino Shield, and we decided to take a look at it.
Rhino Shield's formulated for our specific climate here in Indiana.
The process with Rhino Shield and their crew, they were just very conscientious. We had problems in the past with painters. They leave debris and everything. Well, we didn't have that with Rhino Shield.
Way better than paint, backed by a 25-year warranty. Right now, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
The thing about the Rhino Shield, the heat gain has been reduced, and we save $70 a month. You don't hear that about any type of paint.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Friendly reminder to change your filter. Head on over to our website at familyhvac.net for some of the best pricing on filters around.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I'm calling it now, Casey.
What are you calling?
They're not going to let anybody go down in this IEDC report.
No, of course not. It just changes for the future.
Yeah, I'm calling it right now. It's Kendall and Casey show. Rob Casey's here. So obviously we began the program today talking about this phenomenal report in the Indy Star about these three guys who essentially dictated where $180 million of mostly our money went, and it went to them and things they're affiliated with and things that could affiliate back to them. And it's everything we've been telling you.
Conflict of interest.
The IEDC
perhaps.
is a rotten organization. It is a glorified money laundering operation in many capacities. And if anybody but the government were doing what the IEDC is doing, they'd go to prison. And they get away with it because they're the government, and they write the rules, and they can write it however they want, and they can set it up however they want. So the governor feigning outrage over this. And look, I say that because when he put the new IEDC board in, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, what'd they do? They approved, their first meeting, they approved incentives for 4 more data centers, which is exactly the status quo of what they've been doing. So I don't exactly believe that the governor is up in arms over the behavior of the IEDC, and especially when you figure out, look, same reason, nobody in the State House will go after Diego Morales, Secretary of State. Everybody knows what he is. Everybody knows what an unethical, corrupt, rotten person Diego Morales is. They know what a dirty person he is. But so much of the money that touches Diego
touches everyone else.
They're not going to cut that spigot off.
Right.
They're not going to let that go down. They'll deal with him. Maybe we get lucky and beat him in a primary. And if not, we don't really care because nobody's going to do anything about it anyway. It's sort of the same thing here. Nobody's going to go down for any of this behavior because the money, many of these guys are so influential and they have the ability to dictate so much donations, etc., from various sources. They might get a stern lecture, maybe.
Possibly a fine for ethics.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't but if you think that there's going to be this forensic audit, which is done apparently of the IEDC.
Yeah, the IEDC, they're going to release the results of that forensic audit expected late next week.
Yeah, it's some sort of legal review. And we've been, don't doubt us. We've been telling you this for months now. That if somebody thought there was going to be some smoking gun where some high-level person was going to go down as a result of this audit, you're dreaming. You're dreaming. They want you to think they've addressed the issue. They want you to think they fixed the issue. And sure, they may make some cosmetic changes, but nothing's actually going to change because the whole premise of the thing, the whole premise of the IEDC is rotten. It cannot be truly fixed as long as it exists in the fashion which it does, and they're not going to let it not exist in that fact because it's a giveaway to, what do you call it when connected people get stuff from the government and then in turn they take a portion of that stuff and they give it back through donations, etc. to the people.
Special treatment.
Well, right. I mean, that's exactly what's going on here, and they're not going to do anything about that. And the politicians certainly aren't going to cut the spigot off. And so you're dreaming, and we've been saying that from the beginning. And whatever changes they implement may look nice on paper, but they're not going to actually stop how ridiculous the whole premise of this organization is.
So let's talk about these changes that they're flushing out. The Commerce Secretary, David Adams, he said that our mission remains unchanged, but our approach is new.
Bingo. Right. So the mission. What is the mission? What is the mission? And I will ask this until somebody can provide me an answer, which nobody can. If all of this investment, quote, quote, in startups or small business and all these megacorps and all this money that's gone out the window is so great, why have our taxes never been higher? If all this, Indiana's such a great state to live, work, and play, and everybody wants to be here, then why are we giving away all this money? And if the giveaways are so necessary, why is the tax ask, the taxes that are paid by us, the citizens, why have they never been higher? When does the benefit start showing up?
That's the question. When's the return on investment? It varies between startup and startup, right? So the Commerce Secretary said that we're going to go from transactional to transformational. And Governor Braun stated that the audit confirmed the need for increased transparency and accountability. And we're going to be implementing new policies and controls to make that happen.
Right. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to have a fascinating conversation with Dr. Jim Dalton. He is the CEO of Damar. And Damar has helped thousands of people in the state of Indiana who are suffering with autism. And they, no pun intended, they span the spectrum, right? From people who just need, maybe help paying their bills to people who need help with every facet of their existence. And so in light of the announcement that came out from the president and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. about Tylenol, I was curious how the folks at Damar are dealing with that announcement. What are the families that utilize their services? How are they responding to it? And let's try to make some sense of why these autism diagnoses have increased so much over the years.
Dr. Jim Dalton joins us next on 93 WIBC.
Fall is great in Indy, so don't ruin it by painting. Do what Mike did. He called Rhino Shield.
Our home is basically a contemporary, and we just started noticing that the paint was just fading and just looked like garbage. We had received a postcard from Rhino Shield, and we decided to take a look at it.
Rhino Shield's formulated for our specific climate here in Indiana.
The process with Rhino Shield and their crew, they were just very conscientious. We had problems in the past with painters. They leave debris and everything. Well, we didn't have that with Rhino Shield.
Way better than paint, backed by a 25-year warranty. Right now, get the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
The thing about the Rhino Shield, the heat gain has been reduced, and we save $70 a month. You don't hear that about any type of paint.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Paint your house again. Rhino Shield. Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-951-4279 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-951-4279. That's 800-951-4279. What do you have to lose? Call 800-951-4279. Again, 800-951-4279.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
New details out a day later. Cloudy this morning, a drizzle in some spots. Right now it's 65. The high today around 75. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending now at 9:30. More details are emerging about the deadly shooting at a Texas ice facility on Wednesday.
A lot of new disturbing details about the shooting outside of this ice facility here. Officials all day yesterday, after sharing more information, said this is the direct result of anti-ice rhetoric. They said it only incites violence, and really it has to stop, because if it doesn't, more people are going to end up dead. The shooter has been identified as 29-year-old Joshua John. Officials say that he fired dozens of rounds at the ice facility from the rooftop of a nearby building. Anti-ice messages were found on rounds that were right near him.
That's Fox's Brooke Taylor reporting. It comes as many local officials accuse ICE agents of bringing violence into their communities, with a family in Massachusetts sharing video of ICE agents surrounding a 5-year-old girl, allegedly in an effort to lure her father outside of the house so they could arrest him. U.S. officials are meeting with their Chinese counterparts today as part of ongoing trade talks between the two countries. This comes as a potential deal to sell TikTok is moving forward, and as President Trump reportedly plans to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping next month. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett.
Jameson Greer and Secretary Bessent are talking to their counterparts practically every day, and I feel like compared to a few months ago, we've made an enormous amount of progress, but there's still work to do.
He was on Fox Business's Mornings with Maria. President Trump expected to sign an executive order today declaring that the TikTok deal meets the requirements of a U.S. law that bans the app unless it sells to an American buyer. And President Trump, meanwhile, also expecting to welcome the Turkish president at the White House today for his first visit since 2019. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC, brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management. The Dow is down 95 points, 46,121. The S&P 500 also in the red, down 30 points, 6,637. As for the NASDAQ, it's down 158 points so far today, 24,503. I'm Jarrett Lewis, on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
Do you suffer from sore feet, back, knee, or hip pain? The Good Feet Arch support system has helped many people find relief, like Tim.
I'm always telling my colleagues who have sore feet, this is the greatest thing. I'll even take my shoe off and show them. And I believe in the product so much. When you have something that works, you kind of want to share it with people. It worked for me, maybe it can work for you.
Or do you wake up at night with heel pain, like Crystal?
I would wake up in the middle of the night with all kinds of pain in my heels and in my arch. So I went to the Good Feet store, and ever since then, I've been pain-free. I wear them every day. I wear them when I walk, at the gym, when I work. They're great.
Get back to walking, working, and exercising, and imagine a life without pain. No shots, no surgery, no medication. You've got nothing to lose but your pain. Stop into the Good Feet store today for a free fitting and test walk. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall, or in Greenwood, just off the 65.
Thanks to the Good Feet store. Thanks to the Good Feet store. Well, I came by your house the other day. Your mother said you went away. She said
You know, Casey, obviously there's been a lot of talk in this country right now about autism, and this went front and center again the other day when the President of the United States, along with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., came out with this big announcement about Tylenol and its potential links to autism in young kids. And I thought, well, let's kind of talk to an expert about this. Somebody who has spent a lot of their life dealing with autism and people with autism, and most importantly, helping people with autism. And that's Dr. Jim Dalton. He's the CEO of Daymar Services right here in Indiana. They help thousands of people and have helped thousands of people impacted by autism. Dr. Jim Dalton joins us now. Dr. Jim, hello.
Hello, and thanks for the opportunity to talk today.
Yeah, absolutely. And we always like to say this. Daymar Services is sponsor of our State House Happenings program, which airs Sunday mornings here on WIBC. So, Jim, you heard the announcement the other day. And again, when these things happen, there's all sorts of conflicting information. I don't think anybody's coming from a position of anything but wanting to help.
Sure.
You, as somebody who's spent a long time trying to help people and running a company that's helped people with autism, what was your reaction to the president and the RFK Jr. announcement?
Well, yeah, it's been an interesting week. As you know, we serve a lot of kids and adults with autism, so I've received lots of phone calls this week from colleagues and, of course, from parents. And I was actually talking to my board last night, and they said, hey, Jim, can you talk to us about this announcement from the White House? And can you talk about it in a non-political way? And of course, we giggled, and I said, I'm not sure I can do that. But interestingly, a lot of my colleagues, just as I'd expect, had just actually kind of rejected the information that came out of the White House just because it came out of the White House. And others, of course, are concerned, and I have a lot of parents call and say, oh, gosh, did I do something wrong? And, a lot of guilt and different things like that. But what I did was I reminded everyone that, what came out of the White House is really not any new information. I mean, we've known for a long time there's been studies and some general reputable studies that have talked about the associated risks of increased risk for autism based on different things. One of them has been the use of acetaminophen during pregnancy, right? So I think the important thing to know is that while there's increased risk with that, and there's research that said that, hey, there may be some association here, there's been not one single study ever done that has said that that is causing autism. No vaccines. There's no studies that say that has caused autism. But there is some increasing risk there that I think we should at least acknowledge that. There's also studies that have seen increasing risks with other things too, like, for example, older mothers. You have babies older in life, then you have an increased risk. We've seen studies that support that. Infections during pregnancy, there's an increased risk. Birth complications, there's an increased risk. So I think the precautionary statement out of the White House is there's nothing wrong with that, and I think it's actually probably good, but it's nothing new. As far back as 2021, I think there were a lot of cohort large studies that basically said, hey, there is some issues here. Let's use some cautions here. So that's kind of how it's gone. Difficult to get out of the political realm when things come from this White House, but so I think we should just pay attention and continue to go forward with good research.
Dr. Jim Dalton is our guest. He's CEO of Daymar Services. We're talking about autism. Obviously, Daymar, one of the leading organizations here in the state of Indiana, helping people with autism. Does that announcement the other day, is it helpful for guys like you and companies like yours? Because your goal is, hey, no matter what's causing it, we want to help people live more productive, independent lives. And again, I think the president and I think RFK Jr., I think they're coming from a point of trying to help. But for the boots on the ground, is an announcement like that yesterday helpful for the folks who are helping people in real time with autism?
Yeah, I say mostly yes. I mean, one of the things I talked to my board about last night was, hey, the urgency to which the White House has acknowledged this is something that we should be happy about. We've been studying this for years and spent billions of dollars on it. It's come back up. Oh, it's always been a high priority, but it's come back up as something that we're emphasizing more. An announcement from the White House always gets kind of the engines running. So I do think that it's helpful, and we appreciate the urgency, the awareness and the struggles that families have and how this has changed their lives unexpectedly, and the things that they go through with school-age children and the systems that are struggling with the behavioral health symptoms, the ABA clinics, the schools that are trying to manage these children and their special needs is just something that there can't be enough focus on that. We need to continue to work hard to help resolve and attenuate some of these problems.
Yeah, Jim Dalton is joining us. I'd like to ask you a question on kind of a broader perspective. What changes would you like to see in autism services at the state or the national level?
Well, that's a big question. Yeah, as you know, in Indiana, we're having a lot of struggles with our budget, and I've been privileged to be on the governor's appointed task force for the ABA task force, and that's been a great experience. Lots of smart people working on that. But one of the things that we're struggling with is the increase in cost for these services with the increase in diagnosis. So, for example, in 2019, I think the Medicaid spend in Indiana was about $120 million or so on kids with autism, especially in ABA clinics. This year, it'll be about $500 million. And if nothing changes in 2029, it's probably near about $850 million. So that, of course, is not sustainable. So we have two things happening. We have an increased focus and increased incidence in autism, and lots of pressures and declining budgets, in at least I can speak in Indiana, to how to actually intervene in a cost-effective way. It's a big challenge right now. I think the focus still needs to be on early intervention, early identification. That's the best way to intervene with autism, is to catch it early. Treatment can be extremely effective if it's caught early. So, we're trying to educate pediatricians. That's usually the front door by which it's usually first identified. So the more that we can educate pediatricians and the more that they can make their appropriate referrals and get those services in place, that is wonderful. I think there's going to be some recommendations to the governor come out that's going to, be a reasonable response to our budget constraints, especially around children with autism on Medicaid, which is a big part of lots of kids that are being treated with autism in Indiana. So early intervention is probably the most effective thing that can be done.
Hey, Jim, before we let you go, there's a lot of talk about the increased rates of autism. Hey, 20 years ago, it was this many kids, 1 in this many kids had autism.
1 in
40 years ago,
10,000, now it's 1 in 31.
Right. Can you talk a little bit about whether that's accurate, or are we just better at diagnosing it? From your perspective as an expert who deals with this every single day, can you give us some insight into those numbers?
Sure. As you know, many years ago, the autism became more of a spectrum disorder. So it widened the range of consideration of certain symptoms and behaviors that might qualify for the diagnosis of autism. And that has been a significant has had a significant impact on the increasing numbers. And there's really 3 things in any country that make a difference in the number of kids that are diagnosed with autism. The first one is diagnostic practices. The second one is really kind of awareness and access to services and diagnosis. And then the third one, which sometimes is a big thing and sometimes not, but it's more the cultural acceptance, signs or stigmas of autism. So I do think the expanded diagnostic considerations have made a difference. I also think that we're coming to a point like we did with ADHD many years ago, that sometimes we're seeing autism when it's not really there. A lot of times these young teenagers or even young adults with kind of quirky personalities, I'm hearing them saying, oh, those kids must have autism. Well, autism can really only be diagnosed if it's evident in early childhood. So those developmental markers have to be there. So diagnosis has been an issue. I also have always said to my colleagues that there's a true incidence increase in diagnosis and the reason I believe that is because at Daymar we see very, very severe autism, and those numbers have significantly increased as well, as long as the more what we would call higher functioning lower needs autism diagnoses. So those things, United States of America has the largest incidence, the highest incident rates. Other countries have high incident rates too, like South Korea is like 1 in 38. Japan is 1 in 87. But if you think about India, it's like 1 in 550. And that's probably because of those three things I noted: diagnostic practices, access and awareness, and then the cultural stigma issues that go along with autism sometimes.
Well, thanks for all you do. Jim, if people want to learn more about Daymar and what you guys do, and if they want to help and be a part of it, how can they do that?
Sure can. www.daymar.org. We have lots of resources for children and adults with autism. Just click on the top. You can also call us directly at 317-856-5201, and we will do all we can to direct, help, or support.
Jim Dalton, Dr. Jim Dalton, the CEO of Daymar. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon, the biggest stories in Indy. We'll probably have a few cheap laughs, and we're going to make fun of Rob Kendall right to his face. 93 WIBC.
Don Fisher for QC Kinetics. I was struggling with chronic knee pain and wasn't encouraged with the options of risky surgery and pain pills. QC Kinetics offered the best option for me, cutting-edge regenerative medicine. Their non-invasive treatment stimulated my body's own biologics so I could be pain-free and get back to doing what I love, playing golf. QC Kinetics has a fantastic success rate, and it's clear to see why so many Hoosiers are happy to tell their story of how they reclaim their lives with the QC Kinetics approach. Ready to live your life pain-free? Go to qckinetics.com/Indianapolis or call 317-559-PAIN and get a no-obligation consultation. QC Kinetics uses the latest technologies, whether it's stem cell, PRP, plasma, or a number of other advanced therapies. Call QC Kinetics. It'll be the best call you will make. Get back in the game, whatever that is for you. Call 317-559-PAIN.
Hey guys, it's Rob for our friend Mark Deedle. You know, Zillow ranks Indianapolis number 2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with Mark Deedle. Perhaps you're worried you need costly repairs or upgrades to sell your home. Mark Deedle guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Luke and Emma in Franklin had to say about working with Mark Deedle. We began building our new dream home, and we needed to sell our old place at a great price to pay for it. The Mark Deedle team made it easy with multiple offers in the first weekend and closed in 25 days at the price we wanted. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Deedle 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdeedle.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com.
Retirement isn't just about reaching the finish line, it's about knowing how to play the next movement. Without a plan, your savings can feel like noise instead of music. I'm Jason Hutchins with Guardian Wells Financial. I've seen too many families head into retirement without the guidance they need. That's why I wrote Orchestrate Your Retirement, a guide to composing a financially tuned plan. I'd like to mail you a copy at no cost. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929. Inside this book, you'll find real-world strategies on turning savings into income, making smarter Social Security decisions, and reducing a bite of taxes in retirement. Call 317-660-0929. That's 660-0929 for your book today. Don't wait. Supplies are limited, and when they're gone, they are gone. Orchestrate your retirement. Discover the rhythm of a confident future.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth LLC, a registered investment advisor. Guardian Wells Financial is not affiliated with Creative One Wealth or with any government agency. Licensed insurance professionals.
Call 317-660-0929.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Game day starts with the Colts Ultimate Tailgate. Join WIBC October 12th at 9:30 a.m. at the Slippery Noodle for drink specials, games, prizes, and all the pregame fun you can handle. Don't miss Indy's Game Day Kickoff Party. More details at WIBC.com.
So now the government's mad at Tinder? Is that right?
Well, they're not mad at Tinder. They're just questioning some of the dating scams that are happening. So,
Like what?
well, there was this bipartisan letter that was sent to
Wait.
Match.
Time.
Yeah.
Kev, what is Tinder? You're the only one here that's eligible to be on a dating application of some sort. What is it? It's just like you just go on and see people's pictures and correspond?
You swipe right or left based on if you're attracted to them or not.
Do you put in like an algorithm, like a description of what you're looking for? Or does it just pick up over time what you're looking for?
Yeah, when you fill out your profile, it asks you a series of questions, and so you answer that, and then they basically, I think they might suggest people based on that.
So people like me, I'm not meaning to, maybe I'm asking too many questions here, but is it like overly materialistic people like me could be like, I'm totally just interested in looks. I don't even care about a personality.
Yeah,
I know
it's basically, it's pretty much based on that. I feel like there's a lot of people that just swipe right or left based on looks.
Yeah, but I'm saying in that like questionnaire, I could be like, look, this person's going to let me down eventually anyway. I might as well just get the best looking person. Well, what?
Yikes.
That's how I would have probably handled it. I'm not saying it's the right way to handle it.
So if you're going to break my heart eventually, just at least be good looking
Exactly.
before you do it.
Anyway, okay, very good. So it's some sort of dating apparatus where people are are matching up with people that are in their wheelhouse, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, so Senators Maggie Hassan, who's from New Hampshire, and also Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee, they sent a letter to the Match Group CEO, and they were seeking information about the company's policies and practices related to fraudulent activity on their platform.
What does that mean, fraudulent activity?
Well, romance scams are a form of financial fraud in the U.S., and annual losses total at least $1.3 billion, according to the FTC.
This is like the new Nigerian prince scam, but instead of the Nigerian prince, it's, I love you, send me money so I can come see you or whatever, and then whatever. All right, so Kev, another question, because I'm out of the game. But it would seem logical to me, like you meet somebody online, hey, you want to set up a little FaceTime or Zoom call or whatever to see the person's real would be a nice step one. Or you can tell me maybe I'm just totally out of the game on this.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that.
Right, so you know the person's real, and then you say, hey, I'd like to meet you at the local butcher shop or whatever, and then you get to visit with them. Shouldn't those be steps A and B before any money is exchanging hands?
Yeah, and I think it's also just fairly obvious when someone's real or not, or if you're getting catfished. So I don't know. I think you have to be pretty naive to fall for it.
It was easier to catfish people years ago, right? Because everybody didn't have a cellular telephone in their hand that had a camera on it, blah, blah, blah. So basically, the government is just trying to save naive people from themselves.
Right. Sounds like $1.3 billion, though. That's a lot of money.
Don't send money to people you don't know. Like, why is this so hard?
Right. Instead of getting all up in Tinder's business, they could just put that note out.
Right. Just put a big, just tack it to the front of the nation's capital. Don't send money to people you don't know.
So the senators, they were requesting all documentation and communication related to the design, development, effectiveness, and consideration of fraud prevention measures that Match and Tinder have. They also wanted itemized quarterly investments in trust and safety initiatives.
Kev, have you ever met anyone on a dating app that was remotely intriguing?
Yeah, I mean, there's been some interesting women.
Have you ever met anybody on a dating app?
Say more words.
That you wanted to meet again, like that you met again?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't know. It just seems
like they've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like, here's how I would equate it. So Dabo Sweeney is the head coach at Clemson, and they were like the best program in college football. And then all this NIL transfer portal stuff started happening. He's like, I don't need that. I'm just going to recruit the old-fashioned way. I'm going to win. And now they stink because he's a purist, right? He knows how in this case football should work, how recruiting should happen, how getting players should be. It don't work anymore. I feel like I'd be the same way. I'm like, I don't need these dating apps. But then the reality is it seems like maybe you kind of do need the dating app because you should be meeting people in person.
Right. Nobody leaves their home anymore. There's no third place to go.
The dating app just seems like a very bad way to make first encounters.
Yeah, you need to do it the old-fashioned way. Meet your significant other at work.
That's right.
You thought I was going to say at a bar.
Well, Yes.
No.
I guess work worked out better for me.
Same. Hey, we need to tell you about this 2-hour WIBC radio documentary.
Oh, how exciting.
It's called For the Love of Slick, in the words of Bob and Nancy Leonard. It's a heartfelt audio special celebrating the life and legacy of Bobby Slick Leonard and his wife, Nancy Leonard.
Oh, how exciting, yes.
It's a tribute, and you can find that at WIBC.com. The homepage, just go under special tabs.
Wait. Is that true? Women will get on the dating app for a free, just to get a free dinner?
I've
Is
heard
that a scam?
Yeah.
That's not a scam, is it?
That's a fraudulent scam.
No, I mean,
Marsha Blackburn should look into that.
Like, is that a scam? We need to think about that during the break. But when we come back, Haley Colombo and Kayla Dwyer from IndyStar will be with us to talk about this fabulous piece they did about these 3 guys who made like $1 gajillion off your tax money through the IEDC.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Do you suffer from sore feet, back, knee, or hip pain? The Good Feet Arch Support System has helped many people find relief, like Tim.
I'm always telling my colleagues who have sore feet, this is the greatest thing. I'll even take my shoe off and show them. And I believe in the product so much. When you have something that works, you kind of want to share it with people. It worked for me, maybe it can work for you.
Or do you wake up at night with heel pain, like Crystal?
I would wake up in the middle of the night with all kinds of pain in my heels and in my arch. So I went to the Good Feet store, and ever since then, I've been pain-free. I wear them every day. I wear them when I walk, at the gym, when I work. They're great.
Get back to walking, working, and exercising, and imagine a life without pain. No shots, no surgery, no medication. You've got nothing to lose but your pain. Stop into the Good Feet store today for a free fitting and test walk. We're located in Castleton by the Fashion Mall, or in Greenwood, just off the 65.
Thanks to the Good Feet store. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Tee up for a great cause at the annual MASH Golf Outing. Practice your swing for the event October 7th at Woodwind Golf Club in Westfield, and you'll not only have a great time, you'll be helping first responders and veterans overcome PTS. With a silent auction, swag bags for everyone who participates, fun on the links, and more. Arrive by 9:30 for registration. Play begins at 10:30 and awards at 4:30. That's October 7th at Woodwind Golf Club in Westfield. Go to mashministries.org for more details.
Come celebrate the 52nd Annual New Earth Festival September 27th and 28th in historic Atlanta, Indiana. Free admission and over 600 vendors offering handmade arts, crafts, antiques, and collectibles. Free entertainment all weekend with 6 live bands plus a free kids zone with 5 bounce houses. Plus culinary delights to tempt your taste buds all weekend. You can skip the drive and arrive in style on the Nickel Plate Express train. Visit AtlantaIndiana.com for more information. That's AtlantaIndiana.com.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
When you call, text, or chat 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline,
you'll talk with a trained specialist prepared to help anyone
experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis.
But the help 988 offers doesn't stop there.
They can also connect you to people and programs in your community
who will offer mental health assistance without judgment
and help you successfully navigate your everyday life.
Call, text, or chat 988.
When you need someone who gets you, they got you.
If you suffer from burning, tingling, or numbness, pay special attention as we discuss neuropathy with Dr. Matt Scholke, chiropractic neurologist and board certified in neuropathy. What is neuropathy?
Neuropathy is nerve damage in the feet or hands.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are numbness, burning, tingling, pain, and loss of balance.
Is neuropathy treatable?
Absolutely, and we get amazing results.
If you have burning, tingling, numbness, pain, or balance issues, call Dr. Scholke today for a free nerve damage screening. This screening will tell if you're at risk for serious complications and if you're a candidate for their specialized treatment program. Don't wait until your symptoms are so severe nothing can be done. End-stage neuropathy leaves people confined to walkers, wheelchairs, even amputations. The first 10 callers will receive a free nerve damage screening. Simply call 463-400-3338. Act now. Call 463-400-3338 for your free nerve damage screening. 463-400-3338.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recyclers Studios, what a former jail inmate is saying about the Marion County Jail, and what happened on an Indiana toll road this week. Those stories and more next. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1, Indianapolis.
He wants to dismantle domestic terror networks. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and President Trump hopes to do it by executive order days after designating Antifa a major terrorist group on the left.
He's got public sentiment on his side when it comes to addressing politically motivated violence. 71% nationally say it's a very serious problem. 22% say somewhat serious in this brand new Quinnipiac poll.
Fox's Peter Ducey at the White House.
Once this order is signed, a challenge for law enforcement is going to be that Antifa doesn't have a headquarters or a central leader, and so they're going to have to figure out how to confront them as a domestic terror network.
This is the day after a shooting the FBI calls targeted at an immigration enforcement facility in Dallas, Texas. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons just told Brian Kilmeade's Fox radio show.
He fired so many rounds into the building itself, right? And then he didn't even know there were detainees in that vehicle. He was just shooting because they were ICE vehicles. Detainees weren't even out of the vehicle.
One was killed, 2 others critically wounded. The gunman then killed himself with an anti-ICE message found on a bullet from the rooftop where he fired. Next hour, President Trump will host Turkey's leader at the White House days after President Erdogan was critical of President Trump's attempts to stop Russia's war in Ukraine, telling Fox.
Did it end? It still goes on. Similarly, he said, I will finish the war in Gaza. Did it end? No.
Well, the president's called out Turkey and other NATO countries for continuing to buy Russian oil, helping fund the war in Ukraine. The president also said this week that NATO countries should shoot down Russian planes that violate their airspace. We learned of 2 more near us.
2 Russian long-range strategic bombers entering the Alaskan Air Defense Identification Zone. It comes after Russia was recently blamed for incursions into Estonia and Poland's airspace.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. Now, as far as these planes, they did not get into American or Canadian airspace. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
He says there were questionable things going on inside. Cloudy, 65 on Monument Circle. The high today in the mid-70s. I'm Jarrett Lewis. It's now 10:02. A former Marion County jail inmate says the facility has widespread drug use, extortion, and involvement from some staff.
The inmates will take their lunch trays and they'll beat on the light fixtures in the ceilings of the cells to create a light so they can fire up what they call a wick so they can smoke the Katie in there. And the Katie's rampant. It's full. That place is full of Katie right now.
Rick, who served time in 2023, described inmates smoking synthetic marijuana known as Katie using makeshift tools and ceiling fixtures. His claims echo past charges against a corrections officer who was recently accused of selling Suboxone inside the jail. IMPD says 26-year-old Brayon Camacho Calia was in a Dodge Charger going 94 in a 25-mile-per-hour zone in downtown Indianapolis. Just seconds before a crash the morning of September 20th, he ran into a car carrying 31-year-old Aaron Radford, who was ejected from the vehicle and died later at a hospital. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office announced the charges against Calia this week, which include operating a vehicle while intoxicated, operating a vehicle without ever receiving a license, and 3 counts of criminal recklessness. According to court documents, Calia is also a Mexican rapper that goes by the name of El Marino Mexicano. Local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies are announcing the results of Operation Guardian this afternoon. IMPD says the initiative has led to more than 100 arrests, as well as the recovery of over 24 firearms. The press conference is scheduled for 2:30 at the IMPD Chiefs Conference Room in the City County building. A crash, a mess, and a silver lining. John Herrick reports on how all of that factors into what happened on the Indiana toll road.
It was just before 2 o'clock Wednesday morning when police say they got a call about the driver of a semi crashing into a barrier wall.
When troopers arrived, that's exactly what they saw, just a mess in the closed lane.
Ted Bonner is a sergeant with Indiana State Police. He says traffic was diverted away from the area after it happened, and there is one silver lining.
Yeah, there was no injuries with this, and that's a fortunate thing.
Now they're trying to figure out what caused the crash. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The Fever have an extra day of rest today before Game 3 of their series with the Aces tomorrow night in Indianapolis. The best-of-5 series is tied at 1. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Kendall and Casey back in 1 minute.
Whether it's the good food or the friendly mood, you can count on Indiana to never lose when it comes to tailgating. And we want to see you at every game. That's why Hubler's got you covered with the best warranty around. So kick off the season in a Hubler quality pre-owned vehicle. Right now, you can buy with 0 down. Choose from over 2,000 cars, trucks, and SUVs. Plus, every Hubler Q-certified vehicle is covered by a 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty. Includes a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report. We'll pay top dollar for your trade. Bring Hubler your old car for an immediate appraisal. 0 down delivers, and Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 13 convenient locations.
Cover me.
Select models, approved credit. Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
This hour powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard Air dealer. Nobody cares for you like family.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Casey, there's nothing better in life than when we are right and we don't have to do any of the work to prove we're right.
That's true. When somebody else does all the heavy lifting, we really like that.
And we can now say that thanks to a phenomenal new piece in the Indy Star about the IEDC, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, and how much of taxpayer money was given to, funnel's kind of a strong word, right? Given to these 3 guys.
Some select individuals.
Who were basically calling the shots. They were directing a lot of this money. And it was going to these companies that either were run by them, benefited them. $180 million, in fact.
Yeah.
The title of the article, The 3 Kings, top IEDC official and his partners received $180 million in IEDC contracts. And it really proves what we have been saying.
About the quasi-government organization.
Just what a rotten, unethical, basically corrupt organization the IEDC is, and how it shouldn't even be a thing. And if it is going to be a thing, it's got to be way better than it is now.
Yeah, and we've got Kayla Dwyer and Haley Colombo from Indy Star. They're the ones who did a lot of the digging. Excellent article, ladies.
Yeah, and so let's start with Kayla. Kayla, you guys should win all the awards for this one. Just go ahead and give them to you now. This is great journalism.
Oh, well, thanks for saying that. It did take a lot of brain power and time. I would say we sort of started thinking about it back when Governor Braun announced his audit, or shortly thereafter, of the IEDC, and we had sort of heard that there might be some overlap with certain names that people have been talking about. So, that was back in April or May. And I wouldn't say, of course, in our jobs, we are doing a million things at once. We're never just focusing on one thing. But it was sort of a somewhat steady stream of plucking away each week since then, basically.
Haley, when you guys went about putting this piece together, because the piece centers around 3 individuals who they have companies they oversee, have had a lot of taxpayer money funneled to these companies, and they were largely, in many ways, influential or in control of that. How do you go about putting this together? Where do you even begin?
Honestly, Kayla is so right where she was saying, a lot of brain power. There's 3 of us that did this story. Myself, Kayla, and Marissa Meador, who is our fabulous politics intern. And it really took all 3, it's like combined brain power of the 3 people, so it was a lot of just, we're going through Indiana Secretary of State business filings, federal nonprofit filings, IEDC meeting minutes. It was a combined effort to kind of like make all of those connections.
Okay, so and it's so complex because the IEDC is so anti-transparent. As Casey said, as a quasi-government agency, it's harder to get information. But just kind of, and we touched on this, like I said, to begin the program today, but kind of walk our audience through this. Kayla, I'll start with you. Basically, at the heart of this is 3 super influential guys who in many ways controlled where taxpayer money from the IEDC would go, and it went to benefit them and their companies and companies they were involved in.
So in some ways, the part about figuring out just how much entities connected to these 3 men got from the IEDC, that was the part that was easily accessible through the transparency portal at the IEDC. The part that's a lot harder to figure out is the return on investment for taxpayers. That's where records requests came in. We wanted the report outs from each of these grants, and the IEDC never fulfilled that records request, at least not yet. So those are the kinds of things that are sort of behind the wall, if you will. So the big concept here, 3 men who just seem to be on a lot of boards together. Just a lot of different, all these entities, and these 3 names keep popping up. And they're all in similar spaces, right? Like the high-level technology, autonomous vehicles, hydrogen, semiconductors, sort of this highbrow tech space. And but when you add up the amount that they receive through these various LLCs and nonprofits, more than 3, at least 8 to 12, I think that we were entities that we were counting. It adds up to, if you just take, and here's where it also gets complicated because there's so many different funds that things come from through the IEDC. So one way to analyze this is if you look at just a particular fund, like the 21 Fund, 21st Century Research and Technology Fund, which is one of the main funds at the IEDC. If you look at the state budget, it's one of the few that are always in there as a line item. If you take all of the money that's been routed through that program over its 26-year history, the entities connected to these men have gotten a quarter of that money. And something we didn't put in the story, if you add up the line items for the 21 Fund from the state budget for the years that we're talking about, so roughly 2019 to 2024, the money that they got is about half of what was allotted in the state budget. Now, the reason that we didn't really include that is because it's hard to tell if there were augmentations later in the budget cycle, so it's not the best figure. The best figure is really the quarter that we were talking about.
Casey wants to pop in here before we do. Kayla Dwyer and Haley Colombo from the Indy Star are our guests. They have a phenomenal piece. Everybody should totally go read it. The 3 Kings, top IEDC official and his partners, received $180 million in IEDC contracts. It's an incredible piece on just how much these 3 uber powerful guys received in taxpayer money. Casey, go ahead.
Yeah, so you guys were able to uncover about how the 3 Kings were able to receive so much money. Haley, I'm curious, were you able to find any evidence that suggested the startups outside of the 3 Kings had less of a chance receiving IEDC funding?
So one of the elements of the story is that there's at least these 3 startups who have said that they, that their entities or that their efforts were kind of stymied by the 3 Kings if they were perceived to be at odds with or in competition with what the 3 Kings wanted to do. So that, so there's, there's that piece of some people are kind of alleging an anti-competitive or startup mindset there, which I think is really important because, allegedly isn't the IEDC supposed to be spurring innovation at large in Indiana, right? It's the point of it is to help startups, help these entrepreneurs across the state, no matter, who they're connected to or who they're friends with or not friends with. So there's at least these 3 startup founders who are, not thrilled with their interaction.
How did they get away with this? Because, like, if you're on a board or commission in a local government, and you have a potential to make money off of some project that comes before the local government, you're supposed to file a conflict of interest. You're supposed to recuse yourself from voting. Like, is there going to be some sort of investigative follow-up, like, from the government into these guys? Because this really seems kind of rotten.
It's really interesting because the IEDC, in so many ways, it's like that word quasi, that Casey is saying. It's like, man, there's a lot of power in that word. Just in terms of what they're, some of the workarounds in state law almost. So Dave Roberts, he was the former IEDC official who, had a role in directing this money. He says, he followed all the correct processes, that he disclosed all of these things, internally with the IEDC. There's no record publicly that, through the Inspector General's office kind of public portal, that conflict of interest disclosures were filed. So, we're still waiting for clarity from the IEDC, whether, he filed those things internally. As he said, someone from the governor's office, though, told us, there's a difference between, there's kind of a different level of disclosure. On the one hand, there's, conflict of interest disclosure that the public is aware of. And on the other hand, there's, putting something in a filing cabinet that no one ever sees again, but technically you've done it.
Kayla Dwyer and Haley Colombo from IndyStar are joining us. We're discussing their article, The Three Kings. Top IEDC official and his partners received $180 million in IEDC contracts. Kayla, let's end with you, because you began saying that it was the audit that spurred your interest in digging a little bit more. I'm curious, based on your reporting, does Governor Braun's audit seem more likely to expose systemic flaws in the structure, or do you think his audit will be more focused on the actions of specific individuals, perhaps even the ones mentioned in your article?
From what we've learned, it sounds like the audit is going to focus much more on systemic problems, and there's not the Braun governor's office doesn't necessarily want to focus too much on the past, and there may be names mentioned, but they would rather focus on, and this is coming from the governor's office, they would rather focus on the ways in which they will make sure things like this do not happen
going
again.
forward. Okay, so they're going to look at the audit and then decide what they should do in the future.
But I should mention, they did say that they pass certain things along to the Inspector General's office. Of course, that's an independent entity, so they don't know what they're investigating or if they're investigating, but they pass things along.
Yeah.
Well, you guys should win all the awards for this one. It is phenomenal. And Haley Colombo, Kayla Dwyer, thank you for your time today, and thanks for the great work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It is Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
The things we did as kids that would emotionally destroy the kids of today.
Dodgeball in gym class. I went to Tri-West. I was terrified back in the early 90s.
I was one of those guys that was throwing it as hard as I could at people.
Nonstop bullying was normal and tolerated, and teachers didn't give a crap about it. The advice was like, just try to ignore it.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Kids back in school and out of your hair? Now it's time to take care of yours. Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has an offer that will help give you the softest hair, skin, and nails, plus give life to your appliances and fixtures. Yes, we're talking about water softeners. For the month of September, Hope will give you $500 off the purchase of a water softener plus carbon filter. So give yourself the gift of soft water and call Hope Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today.
Hey guys, it's Rob. You know, in the wake of the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk, young people, Gen Z, are opening themselves up to the idea of faith like never before. And that's why Life Church and their Next Gen team is putting together an annual event for teenagers, grades 6 through 12, to talk about what's true and how to know. It's the 4th annual Truth Conference. It's a weekend for just teens that has 3 main sessions: live worship, breakout sessions where they can ask tough questions about God, the Bible, culture, and relationships. Also, it's great food, amazing prizes, fun games, and a free arcade and coffee bar. So if you've got a young person that wants to know, this would be a great opportunity for them. Learn more about it all. lifechurchin.com.
It's JMV. The fall planting season is here, and Miss M's Home and Garden wants to help you with all your landscape needs. Visit the Garden Center for a great selection of trees and shrubs. Some selections up to 50% off. And now is a great time to take advantage of season-ending sales. Herbaceous perennials, 30 to 50% off. Pottery, 50% off. And in-stock patio furniture, now 40% off. Miss M's is located on State Road 135, south of Whiteland Road in Bargersville.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion. That's billion with a B. Yeah, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words Micro. That's pound 250, Micro.
Pros trust Milwaukee Power Tools, which is why Quality Supply and Tool is one of the largest Milwaukee dealers in the country. And right now at Quality Supply and Tool, buy a select M18 fuel grinder, bare tool, and get your choice of the red lithium XC8 battery kit, 3/8-inch mid-torque impact wrench, or 4.5 to 5-inch variable speed grinder free. That's a $279 value. Or buy a select M18 4 or 6-piece combo kit and choose 2 select M18 tools free. Only until November 2nd while supplies last. In Lafayette, Bloomington, Jeffersonville, and Indy, Quality Supply and Tool thinks outside the box. Store.
Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at drexelin.com or visit their showrooms today. Go where the pros go.
All right, so there's a new poll out about Trump.
Well, it is a Gallup poll. It's actually about the American people. American satisfaction with the direction of the country has dropped to 29%.
Oh, wow.
And that is the lowest since Trump took office. Now, here's the key point that you have to recognize in this Gallup poll. It was Republicans that were driving the decline, down from 31% in August. So it went from 31% to 29%. And so the poll was done during the week of the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, so
you have to take that in consideration.
Well, the problem here is in this system we've set up, and this is where, with no viable, independent, most states you've got the Republican and Democrat. Maybe you got a third party or two on your ballot. I mean, the Libertarians have just totally, in a national brand, imploded. So they're. I mean, look at some of the people they're nominating for these, offices. The Chase Oliver guy was a complete knucklehead. So you're basically got two options, and I hated this past election because I didn't really like or have faith in either one of these two candidates. Now, obviously, you can't vote for Kamala Harris. So if third parties aren't going to give you anything viable, then I guess you either got to decide not to pull the lever or vote for Trump and then just hope for the best. But I think we said this last year, that you sort of had two options out of this election. Do you want a sprint towards the ruin and decay of our country, or do you want a slow walk? And the country chose Trump, and so you're going to get a slow walk. There's nothing Trump was proposing in terms of the economy, which is the driver of everything. Now, the border stuff, great, phenomenal. I would have voted for him just on the border. Like, if you had Kamala Harris normal versus Kamala Harris with Trump's border plan, I would have voted for that version of Kamala Harris, just because it's better. You have two choices, pick one, right? But there's nothing he proposed, and there's nothing he's done that is going to make our economy any better. In fact, he's making the problems even worse by these tariffs, and then to try to con you into thinking that his tariffs aren't harming the economy, then he cuts the interest rates. I had a conversation about this with somebody in the banking industry yesterday, and they said 5 months from now, interest rates will be back to, if you got a CD or anything like that, 2% if you're lucky. So your money's worth nothing again. Congratulations. But hey, we're going to try to goose it for the corporations so that they can borrow more money so that we can artificially keep the stock market higher so that you don't understand what damage these tariffs are actually doing to the economy. Like that's sort of the independent analysis of what's going on out there. This wasn't some, conversation for public consumption. This person, wasn't like, hey, you tell your audience this.
Right.
Somebody who just works in the financial industry, and that's what they said. Like, I mean, you're not getting out of this anytime soon, and the policies of Trump on the economy are making it even worse. And so I'm surprised, actually, maybe that it is even that high.
It's really not that high, 29%. So according to this Gallup poll, mentions of crime and violence were the most important issue, and they have doubled just in the past month. It was at 3% in August, and now it's at 8% in September, and that is the highest it's been since August of 2020.
Yeah, and again, it comes back to, it's like, okay, Trump is good on A, B, and C. Like, clearly, he's literally just blowing up terrorists as they're on boats coming into the country. I mean, that's what these drug dealers are. They're terrorists. So good on that. Good on the immigration. I'm just speaking directly to the economic policies, which I think for the majority of people are the driver, regardless of who's in office, on how they're feeling about the country. How is your own personal financial situation currently, and what is the prognosis for your financial situation?
Okay, now exactly what you're saying. When we look to a new AP poll, they say that yes, Trump's weakness is the economy. Only 37% are approving overall, and that's down from August where it was at 43%. And it's a major weakness with independents as well.
Sure, and the other message that American government is sending to people is responsible stewardship of your own money is a death sentence. So, like, if you're a person who is like, man, I'm kind of risk averse, I've done a good job financially, I just want to make sure I can make a few bucks off my money, I want to do everything the right way, pay all my bills, and I'll be running up a lot of debt. There's no home for you in this economy. There's no home. Weirdly, we are now forcing civilians to run their own finances like the government runs its finances, which is, hey, you better be willing to take some risk if you want to make money, because there's no home for you in terms of just sticking it in a CD or a money market or whatever. You better throw it in stocks or Bitcoin or whatever. Consult your trained financial professional, because you're just making nothing, just letting your money sit in something safe anymore, especially with this new round of cuts that they're doing.
So some of his second-term strengths are border security, like you mentioned. It is his most approved issue. Also immigration. He's got a 43% approval rating when it comes to that.
But even that's not that great.
Well, it's one of the higher marks he's getting, though. Right. It's interesting because the Gallup poll said that crime was the top concern. However, when it comes to his handling of crime, he's at 46%. But that is down from August, where he was at 53%.
Don't you think it's a thing, too, where everything then gets pulled down based on how you're feeling about the most important issue to you? So what I'm saying is, when you're negative on the economy, you sort of see everything else in a negative lens, too. And so every other number, even if you're doing an okay job on it, which I think Trump is doing an okay job, certainly compared to his predecessor on the issue. But if you're pissed off about one thing and that's your biggest thing, then you're going to probably be mad about everything else.
It's going to make you negative about everything and bring the average down. Well, speaking of his average, according to AP, Trump's overall approval rating is now sitting at 39%.
Well, again, I know we got to get to a break here, but we talked about that for a while there it was between 40 and 45, and we said probably somewhere in the middle is accurate. And it seems like now there's multiple polls coming out that are showing him even below
a little
40,
bit of a dip.
40%.
Yep.
So bad news for him, because I don't know what he's going to do with the economy, that his current policy proposals, how he's going to pull people out of this.
But the country's hotter than ever, Rob.
Oh, it's on fire, Casey.
It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HUNK to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text HUNK to 42424. That's HUNK to 42424.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Comey is on the hot seat. It's cloudy and 66 in downtown Indy. The high at 75 for later today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending now at 10:30. A grand jury is considering whether to indict former FBI Director James Comey.
Some congressional Republicans say that he lied to Congress, but the grand jury is looking into allegations that former FBI Director Comey may have lied before Congress on September 30th, 2020. That date is very specific because the statute of limitations for lying to Congress is typically 5 years. Next Tuesday marks exactly 5 years since Comey's testimony. It's unclear, though, if a grand jury will vote to indict Comey. They may not return an indictment. They have the option to say yes or no to an indictment. This is a grand jury in Virginia. To be clear, James Comey has not been indicted at this moment, and he's not facing any charges right now. This is all up to a grand jury of everyday citizens.
Fox's David Spunt reporting the president has repeatedly attacked Comey, blaming him for the political fallout from FBI and Justice Department investigations into the Trump campaign's contacts with Russia during the 2016 election. As the investigation continues into the fatal shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas, President Trump says he wants the government to go after left-wing groups. Antifa has already been declared as a terrorist organization. The president is expected to sign another executive order this week to dismantle these kinds of organizations. There's been no evidence to indicate that Antifa is connected to the ICE shooting, although shell casings were found near the shooter with one that has anti-ICE written on it. And hundreds of layoffs and other cuts are planned at Starbucks. Some locations will be closing, and around 900 corporate jobs are being slashed. The labor market did hold up better than expected last week. The number of new claims for unemployment benefits fell by 14,000 last week, the lowest level since late July. I'm Jarrett Lewis on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Mike Rowe here with a random fact. More than half of the homes that have basements in North America will experience water damage. It's true. Whether it's basement moisture, flooding, or bowing walls, do yourself a favor and call a groundworks company. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule a free inspection with Indiana Foundation Service, a groundworks company.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Becca, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As an in-house designer, I can't wait for you to see our incredible selection of stylish and stackable rings. If you're shopping for your wedding bands, we have high-quality designs for every style and budget, from romantic to modern. If you're looking to add to a stack, your options are endless. Discover styles with clusters of gemstones, sleek all-metal designs, updated cigar bands, and signet rings perfect for an engraving. Because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Hey guys, it's Rob, and if you look up phenomenal humans in the dictionary, you're going to see a photo of Mark Dietel. Okay, maybe his photo won't be there, but it should be, and Mark Dietel wants you to know that Zillow ranks Indianapolis #2 among 2025's hottest markets. Home values have risen and are holding strong. Now is a great time to sell. Hire the team with proven systems to maximize your equity. Sell your home with Mark Dietel. Perhaps you're worried with the challenging market, you won't sell your home for the price it's worth. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Sarah in Fountain Square had to say about working with Mark Dietel. After investing in a property in Fountain Square, I ran into some financial trouble and needed to sell the place fast for max dollars. I hired the Mark Dietel team, and they were able to sell my property within weeks for over list price. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel, 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com.
Planes, trains, automobiles, and motorcycles. If you've spent a lot of time working or playing around loud vehicles, you may have trouble hearing on the telephone. Get back in gear with Relay Indiana, providing telephone accessibility to the hard of hearing. Relay Indiana allows hearing-impaired callers to have normal phone conversations through voice recognition technology. And there's loaned equipment for those who qualify. Add clarity back in your phone conversations. Get the captioned telephone from Relay Indiana. Visit RelayIndiana.com.
Heating and air conditioning can be the largest investment you make in your home. Here at Family, we pride ourselves in offering many flexible options.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Reach your fitness goals in 2025 with a 20-minute once-a-week program at Exercise Inc. 5 locations now in Fishers. Visit exerciseinc.com.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZQL Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Does it make me a bad American that I don't care about all this shutdown talk whatsoever?
You're like, does not affect me, don't care, shut it down.
Well, there was a time where I was really into all this stuff, and I was like, ooh, this is a big deal. Now, first of all, these people always change their mind at the last minute. They bark, and then, the Republicans always cave. But two, we've had multiple shutdowns, and humanity and society just rolls on as expected. Everybody always gets their money in arrears and everything's fine, and I think the media wants this to be some massive deal, and it's like we've just been through this so many times that I don't think it is.
So right now, the White House Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, they've instructed federal agencies to prepare reduction in force plans, some RIFs. They say these aren't just going to be temporary furloughs, but they are going to be permanent, and that is in case the government does shut down starting on October 1st.
Government is like the only place where somebody can be laid off, but then they just give them all their money when they come back. Why is that government gets special rules? Like if you work somewhere and they're like, hey, man, sorry, whatever, fill in the reason, we're going to have to let you go for a little bit, but maybe in a month we'll have some work for you. They're not giving you a month's worth of pay when you return, but in the government, the people always get the money. Why do the government people not have to feel the pain the way we feel the pain?
Okay, well, they're saying this time it's going to be different. This is a departure from past shutdowns where furloughs were temporary and then jobs were restored after funding resumed. This time they're saying, no, we are going to permanently eliminate these positions.
Well, so this is what's very interesting is the Democrats are having some sort of internal conflict. You've got the Schumer guys who are Chuck Schumer, the lead Democrat in the Senate, who is like, hey, we're shutting it down unless we get and
healthcare.
Keep in mind, this centers around another opportunity for the Republicans to do something about Obamacare, what they've been promising to do for 15 years, which is they're currently, as constituted, they're choking off at the end of the year the subsidies for Obamacare. But that's what Obamacare is. It didn't reduce the cost of insurance. Casey, your insurance cheaper than it was 15 years ago?
No, it's not.
A lot more expensive?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, it's almost like he just pulled that out of his ass then, wasn't it? Remember, you won't pay one more dime. Or what was the other one? If you like your doctor, you can keep it or keep him or whatever. All Obamacare did is force us, the taxpayers, to pay for people's insurance. It didn't get any needed reforms. It didn't make anything better or more accountable. It just said, hey, somebody's going to pay for the accountability so that more people can have the thing. And the Republicans, as the way things are currently heading, are going to choke off those subsidies, which will essentially shut down a huge portion of Obamacare. Now, the Republicans are as invested, if not more, as the Democrats in the legalized vote buying business. So I've never believed for a second they were going to allow these things to expire. But in terms of the way this thing's currently going. You got the Schumer guys who are like, yeah, we'll shut it down over this. But then the Fetterman people who are like, well, okay, but if you shut it down, then Trump gets to decide who comes and who goes. And do you really want that? So they're fighting with each other.
Well, so the Senate Democrats, they're refusing to advance the stopgap spending bill, right? They're demanding negotiations. And now you've got the Office of Management, the budget. They're saying, well, you know what? We're just going to have to fire people and they're not coming back. So Schumer is saying that this is all just an intimidation tactic.
Think about this for a second. We're according to the U.S. debt clock, we're $37.5 trillion in debt. $37.5 trillion in debt, and not one person, other than Massey, Rand Paul, they're not talking about. We're just talking about how much more we're going to add. Like that's always the discussion. These people never talk about balancing a budget.
They don't care.
They were talking about actually paying for the government that they use. And then the Democrats are like, hey, I don't think 37.5 trill's enough.
Let's add some more.
Yeah, why don't we stick on some more with another unaccountable government program? Okay, by the way, the debt per citizen, this is staggering. Want to guess what the debt per citizen is? Like, how much does every citizen in our country owe?
Oh, gosh. 5,000. It's much higher, isn't it?
109,000.
Oh, wow.
The debt per taxpayer is 324,000. Now, I guess the nice part of all this is when you pass away, your debt gets wiped clean. So like it's just passed on somebody to somebody else. By the way, if you've never been to the usdebtclock.org is a fascinating website. It calculates all these things in real time.
It's scary to watch it just tick up.
The U.S. federal tax revenue comes out to $16,102 per citizen. Every citizen contributes on average. Obviously, that's not every citizen, but on average, $16,102. And the federal government's like, yeah, that didn't work for us.
Yeah.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. We need more. We need more shiny objects. Just stop spending our money on every level. So the programs that will continue regardless of a shutdown include Social Security, Medicare, veterans benefits, military operations, law enforcement, ICE, CBP, and air traffic control. So go ahead. Go on that trip, okay? Fly away.
By the way, when you factor in unfunded debt, like the liabilities, the obligations that we will owe on, they don't count it as a part of the official U.S. national debt because it hasn't been incurred yet. But when you factor in...
So this is like what, future debt?
Yeah, like what we know we're going to owe, right? $104,599 billion.
Well, sure.
And they're fighting over we don't have enough government.
When you see videos of like Chuck Schumer when he's behind a podium and he's on the Hill and he's talking about we need to fund health care for illegals. I mean, do you just want to you just look at him on the TV screen and just it's just I can't. Just stop. Enough already.
By the way, this is a fascinating stat. And again, this U.S. debt clock everyone should bookmark it and just check it every so often. They have some other things that they factor into this. The border encounters for 2024, 1,769,915. Border encounters in 2025, 70,780. Like the people aren't even coming because they're like, there's no point. And so you want to talk about the damage, deliberate damage that Biden did to this country. All of these people came because they knew it was some do drop in, do walk in operation over there. And once all it took was Trump becoming president, and it was, I mean, it's a fraction.
Right. It goes down.
It's like 1/20th of the border encounters.
I like how they've got the Doge clock on there. Savings per taxpayer, $5,758.
Yeah,
really? Didn't they stop doing that?
Yeah,
Where'd that go?
Yeah, I don't. Yes.
Both federally and within the state of Indiana.
Yeah, remember Braun was going to do that. Remember he was going to.
You wrote him a note.
I did,
and
a very nice note.
He said, he was going to hang it in his office.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you think he did that?
No, I think he probably wiped his ass with it, Casey. Yeah. So for some reason, people brought that up the other day. They were like, remember when Braun was talking about letting you run Indiana Doge? I don't think that was ever actually in consideration.
Well, I think that it kind of goes to the story that we started this morning with, the article in IndyStar about the top IEDC officials and receiving all of that money under $80 million in contracts.
Sure, you can't give it away if you don't take it from people to begin with, right? Hammer's going to join us next.
It's Kendall Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel show this afternoon, the biggest stories in Indy. We'll probably have a few cheap laughs, and we're going to make fun of Rob Kendall right to his face. 93 WIBC.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. You can say goodbye to cracked, stained, and dirty old floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out the color. Upgrade your home today by calling Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. And they come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. The phone number, 877-417-0635. You can find them online, too. GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com.
Don Fisher for QC Kinetics. I was struggling with chronic knee pain and wasn't encouraged with the options of risky surgery and pain pills. QC Kinetics offered the best option for me, cutting-edge regenerative medicine. Their non-invasive treatment stimulated my body's own biologics so I could be pain-free and get back to doing what I love, playing golf. QC Kinetics has a fantastic success rate, and it's clear to see why so many Hoosiers are happy to tell their story of how they reclaim their lives with the QC Kinetics approach. Ready to live your life pain-free? Go to qckinetics.com/Indianapolis or call 317-559-PAIN and get a no-obligation consultation. QC Kinetics uses the latest technologies, whether it's stem cell, PRP, plasma, or a number of other advanced therapies. Call QC Kinetics. It'll be the best call you will make. Get back in the game, whatever that is for you. Call 317-559-PAIN.
Central Indiana, get ready. On Saturday, September 27th from 10 till 2, it's back. The second annual Smoke in the Ville Egg Fest at Builders Lumber and Hardware. And this year is bigger than ever. Picture smoke in the air, food sizzling on the big green egg, and chefs serving up bite after bite of incredible flavors, all included with your ticket. Grab a drink from Bourbons and Brews Mobile Bartending. Enjoy live music by Nick Fisher and catch your favorite college game on the big screen while you sample it all. Shop local crafts, create a hands-on project to take home, and from 11 to 2, step up for Anarchy Axe Throwing. Tickets are just $20. Kids under 12 are free. Unlimited food, drinks, crafts, and axe throwing. All ticket proceeds support Love Inc. of Shelby County. Eggheads, don't miss your chance to buy a preseason demo egg at the lowest prices of the season. Smoke in the Ville Egg Fest, September 27th, 10 to 2 at Builders Lumber and Hardware, 1309 Miller Avenue, Shelbyville. Tickets are available at the door or at blhsupply.com. Get yours now.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-951-4279 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-951-4279. That's 800-951-4279. What do you have to lose? Call 800-951-4279. Again, 800-951-4279.
You hear that? That's Mike sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. That's because Mike was smart this time. He took ZQL Ultra to fall asleep fast, stay asleep longer, and get the deeply restorative sleep he needs. So now he wakes up refreshed and ready to conquer Mondays.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Ultra. Not for colds, just for sleep. Really great sleep. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Join us every Friday right around 5:50 for Beer Sample Friday.
Brought to you by Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus, home of free delivery within 75 miles of their store.
Listen to the Hammer and Nigel Show all this week for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see Hard Sunday, March 15th at Fisher's Event Center.
Down on my knees now, wouldn't you, Barracuda?
I gotta say, I was listening to your show the other day, and what was the game you were playing member of Heart or famous for a fart?
Yes.
And I turned it on. I was in the car going to pick Livy up, and you said we're still trying to give away the tickets because some guy's phone had dropped or whatever.
Correct.
But when you first said we're trying to give away the tickets, I'm like, some guy lost famous member of Heart or famous for a fart? Like, I was like, no, there's no way some guy lost that game.
We try to make these contests as easy as we can, but fun.
Yeah.
Right? Now, there have been people who have lost. Like, we've done Sing-Along with Hammer in the past, and somebody missed, like, all these popular songs, had no idea of any lyrics. Like, Don't Stop Believin', and, like, you know, all these famous songs.
Happy birthday, Velvet.
Right. Joe Biden is caller number 9 right now. I think twice somebody has not won, but this afternoon we're playing Don't Forget the Lyrics with Allison. And the way this works is that when we solicit for caller number 9, their fate is in producer Allison's hands.
No.
I'm going to play a Heart song. I'm going to stop it at some point.
Oh, no.
And she has to get the next line. If she gets it right, the caller gets the tickets.
So much pressure for someone else.
She delivered yesterday.
I heard that. Yeah. I heard that. But that's a lot of pressure.
And yesterday we had her Don't Forget the Lyrics of All I Want to Do Is Make Love to You. Big hit by Heart.
Yeah.
YouTube patron pointed this out to us. What a screwed up song that is. If you really think about the meaning of that song, it's about, let's just say it's Ann Wilson who sings it, right? Her character, she's not getting it from her man at home. Maybe there's an impotency issue, maybe he's shooting blanks, I don't know. But she's not getting loving at home. So she goes on a drive, finds a hitchhiker, takes him to a hotel, raw dogs him, gets knocked up, comes back and says, oh, by the way, don't find me anywhere. You're not allowed to look for me. Bada bing, bada boom. Thanks for the sex. Goes back to her husband. Years later, she does everything that she said not to do, finds the guy, the hitchhiker guy, working at a bank or something, and brings in the son that they created and said, oh, by the way, I'm in love with another man, but
Here's your
thanks.
kid.
Here's the kid.
Wow.
What a screwed up song.
Yeah.
Dog and butterfly.
I didn't ask him his name. Lonely boy in the rain.
It was great for him.
Right. But, like, who just raw dogs a hitchhiker? Like, in addition to that being just completely dangerous, right? Like, how do you know this dude doesn't have every STD under the sun?
Yeah, I'd be more afraid for my safety than anything. Right?
Right. And she left a note where I'm assuming she was the one that rented the hotel. Because if he's hitchhiking, he probably doesn't have a credit card or he would have had transportation.
That's a good point.
So she probably rents this hotel. Her name is on it. She sneaks out first. What if he damages the room? And then she has to pay for all the damages afterwards.
That's where your mind goes. What if this guy is smoking in the hotel room?
Correct.
Not thinking it's a Hilton Garden Inn they're staying in.
Oh, no. But still,
This is a motel.
She left a very classic, very nice, had some poetry on there, and but she left him there.
Well, now that you've thoroughly ruined everyone's day with that Debbie Downer of a segment.
All I want to do is make
love to you.
We got a podcast coming out this afternoon.
We do. NFL edition drops at around 1 o'clock today. I will have action on tonight's exciting Thursday game. Snooze fest between Seattle and Arizona. And then you are Mr. Monday Night.
Yeah, boy, howdy. That's going to be great. The Dolphins hosting the Jets.
The games that we are locked into doing. I'm Thursdays, Rob's Mondays. Both kind of turds this week. But the big game of the week is probably the Ravens at the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And we will also pick that and have our professionals, David Stefanoff and Kenny Britt, pick that as well.
So the Colts are at the Rams.
That's a good game.
That is a good game.
And
At least on paper.
injuries look like they could be in play here. Colts are a little banged up, but so are the Rams. The Rams might be missing their best corner. So keep an eye on that over, possibly.
I asked you this before we came back on. Like, if you're the Colts, aren't you kind of stuck now with a multiple-year Daniel Jones experiment? Because you've won 3 games already, which you're not going to get the number 1 pick now probably, or even a top 2 or 3. You win half your games. That puts you at 9. You got left. That puts you at 9, which means you're, getting to the back half of the first round.
You're in the late teens probably.
Yeah, you've essentially told Richardson, we have zero faith in you, so he's done. So aren't you just now in a multi-year Danny Dimes experiment at this point if you're the Colts?
Yeah, but here's the thing. What if Danny Dimes is actually pretty decent. Maybe the Giants organization is the NFL version of the New York Knicks, right? Maybe they are just such a Mickey Mouse ran poor organization that they didn't put a line around him, because that was the thing. He had a good running back when he was with the Giants because he had Saquon Barkley, but he didn't have a line. Colts line, pretty good.
Yeah, the problem now, though, is you got him relatively on the cheap this year.
For a one-year deal.
For 1 year. And now if he wins 9-10 games, you're going to be paying, it's going to be a multi-year deal, and it ain't going to be for $14 million.
But I guess you giveth, you taketh away. You're going to lose Anthony Richardson's contract off the books, even though it's a rookie deal here in the next year, because there's no way they're going to re-sign that guy. So that money, plus probably a little bit more, you add on top, and you give it to Danny Dimes. It's probably the best option, because you're right. The Saints or somebody like that are going to have the number one pick, and maybe this isn't going to be as good of an NFL quarterback draft as we thought, because Arch Manning doesn't look like he's ready to come to the NFL. Some of these other dudes have not been as advertised, Cade Klubnik. So you're kind of down to the LSU kid, Nussmeier, maybe South Carolina Sellers, but he's injured. He's been a little underwhelming. Maybe it's not as good of a quarterback draft as we thought.
Great. 3 more years of between 7 and 10 and 10 and 7.
Let's go, Danny Dimes. Build the statue. Build the statue right now.
What are we doing this afternoon?
You're going to come on our show, and I'm going to make fun of you right to your face.
Oh, just so it's a usual Thursday.
Thanks, Hammer. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Like a rolling stone.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
Everybody knows Hubler's got the best warranty around. 10 years, 200,000 miles. But did you know? Now you can get that same limited powertrain warranty on new Toyotas. Introducing the all-new Hubler Toyota. Get grand opening savings all month long. And right now, save on new Toyota trucks with low APR financing, including 2025 Tacomas with 3.99%, or Tundras, just 1.75 APR for 72 months.
Hubler's got you covered.
At the all-new Hubler Toyota on US 31 South in Indianapolis. Visit HublerToyota.com. Grand opening savings and the best warranty around. 10 years, 200,000 miles.
Cover me!
Select models, approved credit, plus tax tag title license, 249 dealer doc. Tacoma monthly payment for 60 months, 1841, and Tundra 1464 per thousand financed. Expires 9/30.
At Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, you'll talk with an oncologist within 48 hours of your diagnosis, so you won't have to wait to start finding answers.
They got me in pretty quickly to meet my team. They gave me the plan and what they knew and what they wanted to do. I was really impressed with the care team and the approach they took.
Learn more about Community MD Anderson at ecommunity.com/cancer.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at drexelin.com or visit their showrooms today. Go where the pros go.
Coming up in 2 minutes from the Technology Recycler Studios, the claims of what's going on inside the Marion County Jail, who's been charged for a fatal crash from last week in downtown Indy, and a warning to the City-County Council from the state's Attorney General. Those stories and more next. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. Time for Fox News. It's 11 o'clock.
Still investigating why he did it. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
What really happened yesterday and whether or not this person is acting alone or in a conspiracy with others, we don't know.
Dallas Mayor Eric Johnson, a Republican, also tells Fox after a gunman shot at an immigration enforcement facility, killing one detainee and wounding 2 others.
The reality is we have a problem in this country right now with political violence.
Fox's Griff Jenkins reports Texas Democrats put out a statement.
They say we unequivocally condemn all forms of violence and urge everyone to refrain from rhetoric that fans the flames from all sides. The Trump administration and the governor must stop stoking the flames of division, hate, and anger to exploit people's fears for political gain.
Democrats also denounced federal agents wearing masks. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons tells Brian Kilmeade's Fox Radio show.
They wouldn't have to wear the masks if people like that or elected officials weren't calling us Nazis, Gestapos, calling for threats like that, calling for people to actively resist us.
The gunman killed himself. An anti-ICE message written on a bullet found near him. President Trump plans an executive order aiming to dismantle domestic terror networks. Another order would facilitate the sale of TikTok to American business leaders to end Chinese control, staving off a looming TikTok ban. Now, right now at the White House, a meeting with Turkey's president. Fox's Peter Ducey reports could get tense.
This is going to be something that does not happen often. A world leader is coming here to visit President Trump at the White House, fresh off calling him out and accusing the president of talking too big a game when it comes to ending global conflicts.
The Palestinian president has just spoken via video to the UN General Assembly, and Mahmoud Abbas demanded that Israel stop using starvation as a weapon.
It is a war crime and a crime against humanity.
Israel denies that while continuing to wage war against Hamas in Gaza. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Things may be out of order. It's mostly cloudy, 66 on Monument Circle, a high of 75 for today. I'm Jarrett Lewis. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Inmates smoking synthetic marijuana with ceiling wires and a guard accused of smuggling. Ryan Hedrick reports on what's been happening at the Marion County Jail.
Rick, a former inmate, says Marion County Jail is dealing with drugs and corruption, and he doubts a former officer's story about drug smuggling.
There's no rec time. They open up a bay in the open facility there. Opens up at 9 in the morning and shuts down at 3 o'clock. So there's no really way he got in there with a cup.
Former Marion County Corrections Officer Bryce Birdsong arrested and charged with misconduct, trafficking with an inmate, and possession of drugs. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A Mexican rapper is charged with driving drunk and crashing his vehicle into another that ultimately killed a man. The Marion County Prosecutor's Office this week handed down the charges to 26-year-old Brayon Camacho Calilla. The crash happened in downtown Indianapolis last week, killing 31-year-old Aaron Radford. Police say Calilla was going 94 in a 25-mile-per-hour zone at the time of the crash. His blood alcohol content was later determined to be .108. He's charged with multiple felonies and placed on a federal detainer. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita is warning the City-County Council that cutting the sheriff's budget to limit cooperation with ICE would break the law. On Wednesday, Councilor Dan Boots pushed back.
As our leading legal officer in the state, asserting false facts, if I were a lawyer doing that, and I am, and if I did that in a court of law, I could be sanctioned for it. So for them to come forward and say with crime surging in our capital, that's a blatant lie.
Separately, the council also said it will keep funding a program that helps immigrants with legal defense, even though it wasn't in the first draft of next year's budget. The Indiana Parole Board is recommending against granting clemency to death row inmate Roy Ward for the 2001 rape and murder of 15-year-old Stacey Payne. Ward's autism diagnosis was considered as a mitigating factor, but the board ultimately gave little weight to it. The decision now rests with Governor Mike Braun, who hasn't made a decision yet. Ward's currently scheduled to be executed October 10th. Kelsey Mitchell having a tough game against Vegas on Tuesday in Game 2 of the WNBA semifinals. Head coach Stephanie White on how she could bounce back.
She's played heavy minutes for us. I thought she looked a little fatigued. Some shots that she typically makes that she didn't. Obviously, their attention was AB and Kelsey, and deservedly so. But we were passive.
Game 3 of the Best of 5 series is tomorrow night in Indianapolis. I'm Jarrett Lewis on The Level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's. But that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
This hour powered by Family Heating and Air, your American Standard Air dealer. Nobody cares for you like family.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
So the American dream costs how much?
$5 million.
Well, I'm out.
Now, this is over your lifetime, and there are 8 key components of the American dream. This is according to Investopedia.
Oh, that's over your lifetime.
Yes.
You got to make $5 million. I don't have to have $5 million.
No, not currently, but over your lifetime, it's actually $5,043,323 to achieve 8 key components to achieve the American dream. $2.8 million for a U.S. worker with a bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Okay.
Average lifetime earnings.
What are the components? Wait. I thought it was $5 million.
Well, it's $5 million. Average lifetime earnings is 2.8. So that's what they're saying. The cost of the American dream, it's out of reach.
Oh, okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, because you need $5 million.
Okay, so here's the news. And then the bad news is you're not going to get it.
Right,
exactly.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. Would you like to know the 8 core components of the American dream?
Totally.
And their cost?
Yes.
Okay, so this is based on 20 years of retirement spending. The number one component is retirement. You need $1.6 million to do that. It is the most expensive component of the American dream.
Yeah, okay.
Home ownership. $957,000. This includes a home purchase plus a 30-year mortgage with interest, insurance, and taxes. And that number has gone up by about $30,000 from last year.
Well, that's a pretty decent home, though. I mean, because what isn't it usually like? You pay double on the house, like over the lifetime with whatever your plan is.
With your interest?
Yeah. So,
and your mortgage.
So if you're saying it's, well, you're also saying property taxes are included in that too. So,
Right.
I mean, that's whatever that would be, $400,000 house. Okay. All right. Very good.
Owning new cars. 2-car household, replacing cars every 10 years. You need $900,346.
Wait. Replacing a car, 2 cars?
2-car household, and you replace the cars every 10 years.
Every 10 years.
So over your lifetime, you'll spend $900,000.
Okay. However, if we're in a 2-car household, that means we're in a 2-income household too, right? I mean, why would I need 2 cars?
If you don't have 2 incomes,
That's right.
If 2 people not leaving all the time.
Unless you're like me and you have 1 car that barely works, then you would need a car that actually works.
A lot of that has to do with marketing, though, where people are all the time exposed to, the fanciest and latest new car, and you need this, when really you don't. The car you have is running fine.
Well, that's
look, okay, so there's car guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is in no way meant to be any way negative, but there's car guy who that's what they are. They're into cars.
Sure.
That's their hobby.
Mhm.
Now, do you have hobbies? I mean, baking. But
Yeah.
but outside of radio, do you have things you? I mean, I know you enjoy hiking, et cetera. But do you have? I've never heard you to collect anything or.
No, I'm not really a collector.
So what do you?
I mean, I used to do the scrapbooking when my daughter was younger
Right.
and that sort of thing.
Then you just figured out she won't appreciate it. So what's the point?
Right. It costs a lot of money to do that.
Yeah, that's why the journal is great because even if
all you need is a blank page paper.
even if she doesn't appreciate it, at least it didn't cost me a lot of money. But what if you were to say my hobby is? What would it be?
Pushing your buttons.
Well, I asked that because this is my hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So my hobby costs me $0. I make
You're
money on my
actually
hobby.
making money
Right.
off of your hobby.
But it depends on. So my point is, car guy, cars are his hobby. Your husband's case, bathrooms full of magazines, his hobby, right?
Right.
But take car guy out of the equation because car guy buys for fun because cars are his hobby and new cars and different cars and whatever. You do raise a great point in I wonder how many people. Well, it's probably time to get a new car.
They're feeling
Why?
pressure. But
Yeah.
really, they don't need one.
My wife and I have had this conversation at least 3 times since we've been together, and every time I told her, it ain't time to get a new car.
You don't need a new car.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, now, my car's hanging on by a thread.
You need a new car.
But no way.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to achieve that American dream if it kills me, Casey.
Have you shopped around for cars? Do you have any idea? How close to the process are you? 'Cause
Yeah,
I know you need a new car.
I got guys. I got guys.
You got somebody.
When it's time to execute, I will execute.
You're going to just take some recommendations.
Well, I do this with everything where little life hack here if you'd like to do this. I'm not saying this would necessarily work in your relationship, but I am great at placating. And what I mean by that is my wife will tell me we need to do something, and then I'll say, yeah, we'll do it next week. But she's got the ADHD, so she'll get distracted by something.
And then move on.
And then by the time she comes back to it, in a fit of rage, you told me you were gonna. Oh, yeah. I'll do it next week. And then, so here's a great example is there's something I'm supposed to do for the past couple weeks. I told her we'll do it this week because I just don't want to spend the money on it. And we don't need to spend the money on it yet. And she had a work trip this week. So she's been gone. So she's gotten back. She won't remember until the end of the week. And then I'll say, well, we're going to have to wait till early next week before we do this.
You just reminded her, by the way.
I am the best person at saving money. When it comes to saving money.
Just put that off.
And financial stability, even though I've never made any actual money,
yeah.
I do very well because I can live my life on about 9 cents.
Well, you're going to have to get a new car eventually.
Oh, yeah. No.
Don't wait until you're stranded on the road.
I'm hanging on by a thread, which could be today. I think I need a new battery. I'm hoping that it'll start and I have the ability to get home because here's the predicament I ran into, okay? And this may be the worst thing ever. So like I said, my wife just got back from her work trip. She has to go into work today. Some days she gets to work from home, but she had to go into work today. I know my dad plays golf on Thursdays. So I go to start my car and it does the
oh no.
And I saw the battery light. But then it started. So it's like, okay, the battery's not going to stop in the middle of the road.
And you're hoping that it recharged on your drive here.
Right. Because it was like, I can't tell her I'm going to take her car. I'm not going to screw you over and not come to work. Then I'm not going to tell my dad that I need his car. So what choice did I really have?
You're just going to roll the dice when you leave today to see if
it may not start, but all I got to do is make it once it starts. Right?
Yeah, you'll get there.
As long as the car starts, it won't stop. Right? I did take the long way to get to work today, though, because in case something were to happen, I wanted to be on a slow road, which is why I was later getting to work today.
Right.
Because it was like, I want to be going 30 miles an hour when something goes off the hinges.
Rather than the highway. Yeah, that's smart.
This is my life.
Did you back into the parking spot?
No, should I?
Well, if you might have to jump it.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
You're right. Oh, that was a bad move.
Well, good luck.
I should have. Oh, man. Oh, boy, I didn't even.
I think I have some cables.
Oh, I got the cables.
Okay, good.
Oh, with that car, I keep everything with me on my person.
Right. Keep some oil in there.
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff to fill up your tires.
I told
too.
you that I have to that there's something wrong with the car runs great when it runs.
Mhm.
Like you just got to do some stuff to it.
You just have some regular maintenance.
The oil, there's something where it burns oil.
Yeah, that's not good.
But as long as you put the oil in every 2 weeks, it runs like a champ.
Mhm.
I've been doing that for 3 years now.
We need a car guy to come on and help recommend.
I need a car sponsor.
There you
That's
go.
what I need. Doesn't Cats have a car sponsor?
There you go. Yeah.
They always ask us that in our, what do you need? And then we tell them what we need, and they never give us any of those people as sponsors. I need a car sponsor.
Mhm. You need a dealership
Like at this
to
point,
help you out.
the Fred Flintstone car would be better than the car that I actually have.
Yeah, that's true.
But the point of all this is I will achieve that American dream.
You will. All right, and on to the 8 components of achieving the American dream. Raising 2 kids in college. This includes the cost to raise children through the age of 18, plus tuition for a state public college.
Now, you paid for your kid to go to college.
I did.
Why?
Because I am the wall for her to push off of. I wanted her to have a good start in life.
Sounds like you were the wall that she took a sledgehammer to.
Mhm.
You didn't feel like saying at 15, hey, this is around the corner. Responsibility starts here. You better figure out what you're doing with this.
Yeah.
That's what my parents did with me, and look at how great I turned out. Not bitter at all, Casey.
Well, I mean, she does have that highly lucrative position at Johns Hopkins
Well, that's what I'm
University.
saying.
It's not highly lucrative.
Shouldn't she be
by
starting
the
to give
way.
you some money back in all of this?
It's what I do. It's what I chose to do for my child. You choose your path. That was the one I picked.
Like, I mean, at 14, you can work on a farm, right? Or something
She
like that.
worked. She had jobs.
I mean, you could, what are you laughing at, Kevin? I'm trying to think of places. I had a job at 15, which I worked at a golf course.
Yeah.
So, in lieu of that, I'm trying to think of how early I could start my kid in terms of working and where that place would be.
Paper route. You can start that really.
Who's getting it?
Right. Who's doing a paper these days?
No offense to our friends at the Star, but I think they're mostly online stuff now.
Right. Okay, well, it cost $876,000 to raise 2 kids and put them through college. Health care is another component.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
$414,000. This is for a lifetime of health care, spending from the age of 22 to 85. Okay.
Is there another component to this?
Yeah, there's
more.
There's 3 more.
Oh, geez, I've been just babbling like a cackling hen
All
over
right,
here.
annual vacations, 1 vacation per year over your lifetime, $180,000.
What?
This is basing the average vacation cost of $2,867.
Whoa.
Owning pets will cost you nearly $40,000.
Yeah.
This is the lifetime cost of owning 1 dog or 1 cat, includes
how much?
Food, health care, and other expenses, $39,381.
That's 1 dog for your entire life?
Well, yeah, if you have a dog or a cat.
Not just a dog once.
Lifetime cost of owning 1 dog.
Okay.
And the final expense, and this is ridiculous. This one I could completely do without. If I had to do it over again, I would totally change it.
Yeah.
Wedding, $38,200. That includes the ceremony, reception, and ring.
How much?
$38,200, right? Do like you do. Just get married in the backyard.
$500. That's what my wedding
Right?
was.
I think backyard weddings, they're picking up in
That included the food and everything.
popularity.
$500.
Did you have Arby's?
No, I wish. I really would have
cater
loved
it?
it. I would have done
Chick-fil-A?
that. I would have also done that too. That was the one thing I was not allowed to have any control over.
Who do we have coming up
And
next?
she said, "Can't you at least let me have this?"
Yeah, Nikki Kelly is going to join us next.
Yeah, that's right. So we're going to talk about this in light of this IEDC report that came out from the Indy Star, which was just a bombshell revelation on how much money these 3 connected guys had pretty much steered their own way from the IEDC. The governor has announced that the IEDC audit is done and should be coming out soon. So we'll ask Nikki Kelly when that's coming out, what she's hearing might be in the audit, and we'll ask her about this thing with Todd Rokita practically begging school systems to fire some of these teachers.
She's going to join us next on 93 WIBC.
Sun's up, the coffee is brewing, and Tony Katz is your morning information barista.
Tony Katz, good to be with you.
Clarity.
We're not interested in having this debate. We're only interested in honestly addressing the issue.
Context.
We should not present this in any other light. The objective is the destruction of Western civilization.
And a little caffeine.
Only the Constitution should rule.
Tony Katz in the morning news. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 93 WIBC.
Of all the times to buy a new Lincoln, right now is the very best time at Tom Roush Lincoln. Get 0% APR for up to 48 months on 2025 Lincoln Corsair, Nautilus, or Aviator. Plus get a $1,000 Tom Roush Trade Assist bonus. So come get that new Lincoln from Tom Roush Lincoln, where our family's been serving yours for over 53 years.
36-month, 10,000 mile per year lease. 2,500 due at signing. No security deposit required. All offers subject to credit approval. See dealer for complete offer details. Ends 9/30/25.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Owe the IRS $10,000 or more in business or personal back taxes? Call the Tax Doctor now. Learn how to pay the IRS less. 800-430-3062. 800-430-3062.
Stuck in a job that just isn't getting it done? Maybe it's time to go for IT. Whether you're just starting out, switching careers, or a military veteran ready for change, My Computer Career can help you launch a rewarding career in IT in months. No prior experience needed. Why spend years getting a traditional degree when your future in IT can start right now? Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Your most powerful upgrade? Your career. Go for it. Go for IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Drexel Interiors, the place to go for upgrading your kitchen, bath, or flooring. Schedule your free design consultation at drexelin.com or visit their showrooms today. Go where the pros go.
Man in me will do nearly any task and ask for compensation.
You know, Casey, we've talked a lot on our show today about this incredible report from the Indy Star revealing these 3 Uber-connected guys who, it appears, funneled or
making all the decisions.
Instructed hundreds of millions of dollars from the IEDC to go to companies they controlled or part of. Or I mean, it's just a phenomenal piece of reporting. And this comes on the heels of the announcement that the IEDC audit, the Indiana Economic Development Commission audit, forensic audit, put forth by the governor, mandated by the governor, is done. It could be released at any time.
Yeah.
And so let's get some info on what might come out of that. And here to join us for that, as she does every Thursday, one of the best in the business from the Indiana Capital Chronicle, Nikki Kelly joins us now. Nikki Kelly, hello.
Hello.
All right, so what have you heard about what this IEDC audit might contain? And it's done, so what is the delay and when might we get to see it?
I think they're saying maybe late next week. It has to go quote, legal review. I think they basically have to redact any confidential information to make sure it can be released publicly. But we'll still get the broad strokes of what they found. Now, we're told there's no criminal violations. I think a lot of it is going to be that certain rules or procedures weren't followed to make sure people didn't have conflicts when they were guiding grants through or things like that. So it seems like a lot of it is, sort of the conflict of interest side and who was watching out for whom.
So this is what I'm really struggling with as a former local elected official. If you have any sort of conflict of interest, you have to disclose that in a conflict of interest form. You have to file that before the vote is taken on something. You have to recuse yourself from voting on something, or you can get in really big trouble. And this really seems like it's exactly what happened here. And now, ladies at the Indy Star kind of said the same thing that you did. We'll just talk about how this doesn't happen in the future. These guys got all this money, and nothing's going to be done about it.
Yeah, that remains to be seen, I guess. But there's certainly, a lot of this is ethical, not necessarily criminal that I know of. I have not seen the actual document yet, as we're still waiting. But there are certainly ethics rules, and some of them are saying, well, they followed the internal rules, but that's not very helpful to the public. So I think they're going to try to clean it up in the future and make sure that conflicts are more clear. Everyone knows who's representing who in certain things. They're going to have more public votes on issues and kind of hope that cleans it up.
Nikki Kelly from the Indiana Capital Chronicle is joining us. And I recall when you came on this very program a while back, it might have been over a year now, and you were discussing how difficult it was to follow the money with the IEDC. And I'm wondering, based on the audit that is due to come out, do you think the governor will recommend some reforms? And if so, any idea what that'll look like?
Well, yesterday at the IEDC meeting, they did announce some reforms, but they're basically, like I was saying, they're going to, for instance, require that all votes are taken by the full IEDC board rather than these subcommittees. That's how some of these grants went through, was just for a few members voting on a subcommittee. That's an example of something they're changing. They're also shutting down the nonprofit foundation. They're saying that the investments have to, quote, stay in Indiana. We'll see exactly how that's defined, but some of these entities, the money definitely went outside of the state. And so those are a few of the things that they announced yesterday at the IEDC meeting.
That's incredible, Rob. I mean, you just heard a fabulous reporter say that our tax dollars funding the IEDC are going to entities outside of Indiana.
Yeah, we've been saying on this program for years. It's a money laundering operation.
Right.
We've talked about the stuff they spend the money on. Nikki Kelly from the Capital Chronicle is our guest. She would maybe not use those exact words, but I sure will. Okay, so Nikki Kelly, is it going to get any easier to figure out if we're getting any return on this money? Because the ladies from the Indy Star alluded to this, and they're spot on. And I know you guys have gone around and around on this. It's almost impossible in some cases to figure out what sort of return taxpayers are getting on all this money that we're spending.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing when you give an incentive and a company comes and builds and you can see how many jobs they have or how much money they invested. Those you can at least point to your quote, return on investment. But a lot of these grant programs and encouraging entrepreneurs and startups or taking them the next level, are a little more hard to define what is success. And so I would hope they'd maybe come up with some metrics to try to make that more clear. And sometimes they're just trying to encourage an industry, right? They're trying to encourage autonomous vehicles or, whatever it is that they've chosen. And so, again, it's hard to tell. Is it if you start up 5, is that a good use of that money? Or, and so I think they definitely need some more clear metrics so that taxpayers can know what they're getting for the money.
Nikki Kelly from the Capital Chronicle is our guest. You guys had this fabulous piece. We talked about it yesterday on the Attorney General, Todd Rokita, coming out and basically saying, hey, if you're a school system and you catch your teachers celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk or acting inappropriate relating to the death of Charlie Kirk, you can get rid of them and you got legal standing to do it. Very firm language from the Attorney General. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, basically the way I read that memo is the office is a little annoyed that school districts aren't taking action. So he wanted to make clear, well, first of all, he wanted to put pressure on them to say they should be. They absolutely should be, according to him. And then there was one case that several pages of that memo focused on of a South Bend teacher where he basically went through the legal analysis and said why they thought this guy should be fired. So, I mean, they are definitely, putting pressure to discipline in very specific cases.
So this isn't a thing where people were coming to him going, hey, we'd like to get rid of these teachers. Hey, Mr. Attorney General, can you back us up? It sounds more like he's angry that the school systems aren't doing something, and it's like, hey, here's the legal precedent to fire these people.
Yeah, he wanted it out there. No, he says his office has received a lot of complaints about it from Hoosiers, so he's responding to complaints or things people are sending for that Eyes on Education portal. But I do think he's been annoyed at watching statements come from some of the districts saying, hey, you know, we have to respect our First Amendment rights. Now, in the South Bend case, they responded to me way later in the day, so I did add to the story, but I'm not sure you saw it. They basically said, look, you know, we agree